Bhagavad Gita, chapter 10, text 20. Aham atma gudakesha sarvabhuta sthitah aham adishcha madhyam cha bhutanam anta eva cha. Aham, I, Atma, the soul, Gudakesha, O Arjuna, Sarvabhuta, of all living entities, Ashayasthitaha, situated within the heart, Aham, I am, Adihi, the origin, Cha, also, Madhyam, middle, Cha, also, Bhutanam, of all living entities, Antaha, end, Eva, certainly, Cha, and. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation: I am the Super Soul, O Arjuna, seated in the hearts of all living entities. I am the beginning, the middle, and the end of all beings. Please repeat: I am the Super Soul, O Arjuna, seated in the hearts of all living entities. I am the beginning, the middle, and the end of all beings. Purport: in this verse, Arjuna is addressed as Gudakesha, which means one who has conquered the darkness of sleep. For those who are sleeping in the darkness of ignorance, it is not possible to understand how the Supreme Personality of Godhead manifests himself in various ways in the material and spiritual worlds. Thus, this address by Krishna to Arjuna is significant. Because Arjuna is above such darkness, the personality of Godhead agrees to describe his various opulences. Krishna first informs Arjuna that he is the soul of the entire cosmic manifestation by dint of his primary expansion. Before the material creation, the Supreme Lord, by his plenary expansion, accepts the Purusha incarnations, and from him everything begins. Therefore, he is Atma, the soul of the Mahatattva, the universal elements. The total material energy is not the cause of the creation. Actually, Mahavishnu enters into the Mahatattva, the total material energy. He is the soul. When Mahavishnu enters into the manifested universes, he again manifests himself as the super soul in each and every entity. We have experienced that the personal body of the living entity exists due to the presence of the spiritual spark. Without the existence of the spiritual spark, the body cannot develop. Similarly, the material manifestation cannot develop unless the Supreme Soul, Krishna, enters. As stated in the Subala Upanishad, Prakrityadi sarva bhutantaryami sarvasheshi cha narayanaha. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is existing as the Super Soul in all manifested universes. The three Purusha avatars are described in Srimad Bhagavatam. They are also described in the Narada Pancharatra, one of the Sattvata Tantra. Vishnostu trini rupani purushakhyanyatho viduhu. The Supreme Personality of Godhead manifests three features as Karanodakashayi Vishnu, Garbhodakashayi Vishnu, and Kshirodakashayi Vishnu. In this material manifestation, the Mahavishnu or Karanodakashayi Vishnu is described in the Brahma Samhita 5.47. Yah karanarnava jale bhajati sma yoga nidram. The Supreme Lord, Krishna, the cause of all causes, lies down in the cosmic ocean as Mahavishnu. Therefore, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the beginning of this universe, the maintainer of the universal manifestations, and the end of all energy. So this is a very nice verse in Bhagavad Gita. Krishna is explaining to Arjuna, who is named here as Gudakesha. Gudakesha is an epithet or a name given according to the quality of a person to Arjuna. Gudakesha means one who has conquered sleep. So there is a nice prayer of the six Goswamis, Nidra Hara Vihara Kadhi Vichitao. The six Goswamis are called Nidra Hara Vihara Kadhi Vijitao. They have conquered the material bodily demands of eating, sleeping, mating, defending. They have conquered. And that is the meaning of the word Goswami. Goswami means this. Vacho vegam manasah krodha vegam jihva vegam udaropastha vegam etan veganyo vishaheta dhirah sarvam apimam prithivim sashishyat. Vegan means the urges. We have an urge to speak, urge to eat, urge of becoming angry, urges of the mind. So we are always driven by these urges. So, etan veganyo vishaheta dhiraha. So what are the urges? A sober person who can tolerate the urge to speak, the mind's demands, the actions of anger, and the urges of the tongue, belly, and genitals is qualified to make disciples all over the world. One cannot call himself a Swami if he is addicted to material sense enjoyment. We have an example in our so-called Hinduism, late modern Hinduism. We call a personality called Swami Vivekananda. But he eats meat, he eats fish, he eats pork, and he's called Swamiji. What is the meaning of Swamiji then? Goswami means one who has controlled his senses, not that he's a slave of his tongue and belly and genitals, and he's called Swami. What is the title of, what is the meaning of the word Goswami? Go means senses. Swami means the master. Even in the Bible it is said, what profiteth the man who has conquered the entire world but has lost his eternal soul? I'll show you another verse similar in the Bhagavatam. You see this. This is in the Srimad Bhagavatam 10:51-51. Nirjitya dikchakram abhuta vigraho varasanastha samaraja vanditah griheshu maithunya sukheshu yoshitam kridamrigah purusha ishaniyate. Having conquered the entire circle of directions and being thus free of conflict, a man sits on a splendid throne, receiving praise from leaders who were once his equals. But when he enters the women's chambers where sex pleasure is found, he is led about like a pet animal, O Lord. This is a king who has conquered all directions but who has no control over his senses. This is a godas. That means a servant of his senses. Goswami is the opposite of this. So one cannot be addicted to any kinds of material. It's not that, oh, that is his dietary preference, but he's a Swamiji still, nonetheless. Recently one of the ISKCON so-called preachers, he has pointed out some fault of the Swami Vivekananda. And then, there was backlash. And then ISKCON shamefully issued a public apology saying, we have offended two great spiritual personalities, Ramakrishna and Vivekananda. And, unpleasant remarks have been directed towards their dietary preferences. This is what? Some airline ticket or what? Your dietary preference to choose something and it's still okay, you will reach the destination. You will not. A person is defined by the character. In fact, Vedic culture divides people according to their eating. according to their dietary preference. Chandala is a person who eats dogs. That is Chandala. Brahmana who eats food in the sattvic food. Vaishnava is he who eats Shuddha Sattva, Prasadam, which is even higher than sattvic. Krishna explains in the 17th chapter, 8th, 9th and 10th verses, food in the mode of goodness, passion and ignorance. So according to the influence of the modes, one is judged. So eating is one of those characteristics. Everything is in the three modes in this material world, or above the three modes if you are spiritual. So everything is judged according to that. Yeah. So it is not that anybody can have anything, anybody can do anything and still he is a Swamiji. It doesn't work like that. So Nidrahara Viharakadi Vijito. The Goswamis are the ones who have conquered the urges of their body. Not that they are slaves. In fact, the Goswamis, they used to sleep 2 hours. Sometimes they used to forget to sleep. That much they were awake in Krishna consciousness. And even when a pure devotee seemingly sleeps, he actually does not sleep like others. He is actually in trance. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu exhibited this in his Chaitanya Charitamrita in his life when he came. You can see the descriptions of Chaitanya Charitamrita. When he was sleeping, he was in trance. He was meditating on the pastimes of Krishna. So that's the Turiya Guna Sampannam, fourth state. Above, Jagrati, Swapna and Sushupti. These are the three states, material states. Wakefulness, dreaming and deep sleep. But Turiya, the fourth state, is the transcendental stage, which is when one achieves that, one understands that even the so-called wakefulness of this material world is deep slumber. Because one is not awakened to knowledge. One may be, that's why it is called Pashyan apina pashyati. देहापत्यकलत्रादिष्वात्म सैन्येष्वसत्स्वपि तेषां प्रमत्तो निधनं पश्यन् अपि न पश्यति. Pashyan api na pashyati. Pashyan means to see. Although they see, they still do not see. Persons devoid of Atma Tattva do not inquire into the problems of life, being too attached to the fallible soldiers like the body, the children and wife. Although sufficiently experienced, they still do not see their inevitable destruction. Yudhishthir Maharaj, he explains a similar thing here in the Mahabharata. Ahanyahani bhutani gacchanti hayamalayam sheshah sthavaram icchanti kimascharya atah param. Hundreds and thousands of living entities meet death at every moment, but a foolish living being nonetheless thinks himself deathless and does not prepare for death. This is the most wonderful thing in this world. So this is called Pashyan apina pashyati. Even though seeing, we cannot see. A good example Prabhupada gave for us to easily understand this, comprehend this, is, when suppose we are driving a car and it breaks down, and you open the bonnet and look at the engine, you don't understand a thing. But when the mechanic comes and sees, he knows what is wrong, and then he just turns something and then it works again. So, you are seeing, he is also seeing. But he is seeing with knowledge, we are seeing with ignorance. So, our seeing has no value. There is a story where a ship did not move. It did not move at all. And everybody, all engineers tried whatever they could to move the ship. Nothing worked. Nothing worked. And 2 days later, 2 days of full trying, and then finally they got one guy. And he came and he saw something, just turned something, and it started moving. Then he charged $10,000. Why 10,000? You just touched something only. Why $10,000? Yeah, $2 for touching that thing, 9,998 for knowing what to touch. So that is knowledge. So seeing with knowledge. So pure devotee sees what we see, but he sees something which we don't see. That what does he see? See, यज्ञात्वा न पुनर्मोहम एवं यास्यसि पांडव येन भूतान्यशेषाणि द्रक्ष्यस्यात्मन्यथो मयि. When he has full knowledge, this is what he sees. Having obtained real knowledge from a self-realized soul, you will never fall again into such illusion. For by this knowledge you will see that all living beings are but part of the Supreme, or in other words, that they are mine. This is the thing that the pure devotee sees. In fact, he sees Krishna everywhere. स्थावर जंगम देखे ना देखे तार मूर्ति सर्वत्र होय निज इष्ट देव स्फूर्ति. Whether he sees movable or immovable things, he actually sees Krishna everywhere. The problem with us is we do not see like that. The very fact that we want to enjoy this material world proves that we are not sure whether Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead or not. Because if we know that he is the enjoyer, we will not even attempt to enjoy anything. We will work for his enjoyment. But the fact that we want to enjoy something, we want to enjoy something in this material world, even the slightest thing, subtle thing, it proves that we are not yet sure. We are not yet convinced that Krishna is the only enjoyer. And one can have peace only when we understand Bhoktaram Yajna Tapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram Suhridam Sarvabhutanam Gyatva Shantim Richati. Peace we will get only when we understand these three things. That Krishna is the only enjoyer of everything. Our sacrifices, our penances, our austerities, whatever our hard work is, he is to be the enjoyer, not us. Oh, I worked hard, why should he enjoy? Well, our hands are working hard, our legs are working hard, but our stomach is enjoying. But then when the stomach enjoys, then whole body also is nourished. That is the principle. We can be nourished, we can be happy only when we make Krishna happy. If the finger tries to eat all the food it is trying to earn, first of all, it cannot do it. And the whole body will become weak, the finger also will become weak. So the only way to do it is to put the food in the stomach. And then the whole body is energized. So that's the principle. So Gudakesha. A person who is Gudakesha, Krishna is saying, Aham Atma Gudakesha. So he's saying, because you are a Gudakesha, I am telling you these things. You can understand these things. Otherwise, we cannot even understand. So, Sarva Bhutasya Bhutashaya Sthitaha. He is situated in everyone's heart as Paramatma. So, in this body, there are many worms also, but the main driver of this body is the soul, and the accompanying person is the super soul, Paramatma. So, every body is primarily moved by two souls. One is the Atma, one is the Paramatma. And even the Atma cannot do without the Paramatma. So we learned in science, in primary school or secondary school, that we have some voluntary muscles and involuntary muscles. Right? We took it as scientific explanation. What is involuntary muscles? That means muscles which are moving without our conscious decision. If I want to clench my fist, I can do it. And if I choose not to, I can choose not to. But the heart, I cannot do that. Even if I want to, I cannot stop it. So, what is that involuntary muscle? Is it a spasm? Sometimes we get fits, epilepsy. Everything moves. Is it like that? It's not a disorder. Then under whose direction it is moving? Simply saying involuntary muscles, put some word there, involuntary, and now it is scientific. What is that involuntary? Go deep into it. If I am not volunteering to move it, who is actually doing it? So this is the way our education is atheistic. In these words are hidden the will of the Supreme. They hide it. And then say, oh, this is scientific explanation. Oh, the leaves are green because they have chlorophyll and they have photosynthesis and they, this is all scientific. Why? Why the green has to do with chlorophyll? Why can't be blue? Because it is Krishna's will. That's it. That is the only explanation why the leaves are green. If Krishna wants, he can make photosynthesis happen with black leaves also, if he wants. Okay. Don't say that, oh, green is the green, because of green only it is happening. Please don't talk crap. So this is the way our education is atheistic. They don't teach that actually it is the will of the Supreme. So good Akesha. This is called being awakened to the truth. With our so-called education system, which we are spending thousands of dollars on, sometimes hundreds of thousands, we are actually still asleep. We are paying to be asleep. But here, free education. And because it is free, there is no value. So nobody is interested. But actually, here are the answers. Everything answer is here. Sarva bhutashaya sthita. Ashaya sthita means in the heart. Now, you are sitting in the Bhagavad Gita class and we are hearing that, Paramatma is in the heart, Atma is in the heart. But the cardiac surgeon is opening the heart and is not finding anything. Okay, explanation is there in the Upanishads that the Atma is so small that it's, Balagra Shatabhagasya Shatadha Kalpitasya cha. Do you know size of the Atma? So there are two verses. You see, this is Balagra Shata, this is Shvetashvatar Upanishad. Balagra Shatabhagasya Shatadha Kalpitasya cha Bhago Jiva Savijnaya Sachanantyaya Kalpate. When the upper point of a hair, that means the cross section of the hair, the upper point, not the length of the hair, is divided into 100 parts, and again each of such parts is further divided into 100 parts. Each such part is the measurement of the dimension of the spirit soul. Similarly, the same version is stated, Keshagra Shatabhagasya Shatamsha Sadrishatmakaha Jiva Sukshma Swarupoyam Sankhyaati Tohi Chitkanaha. There are innumerable particles of spiritual atoms which are measured as 1/10,000th of the upper portion of the hair. So it's so small, we cannot see. Okay, fine. But Paramatma size? Pradeshamatram purusham vasantam Chaturbhujam kanjarathanga shankha gadadharam dharanaya smaranti kechit swadehantar hridayavakashe. See, others conceive of the personality of Godhead residing within the body in the region of the heart and measuring only 8 inches. 8 inches, that's quite big. So if you cannot find soul, we should at least be able to find super soul, 8 inches. With 4 hands carrying a lotus, a wheel of a chariot, a conch shell and a club respectively. Pradesha matram, it's like this length from the thumb to the ring finger around. 8 inches is quite big. Why we cannot find? Because it's spiritual. Forget about Atma, Paramatma. We cannot find our mind. Where is our mind? Where is our mind? The brain we can still see of a dead body, but the brain doesn't work. The mind is something else. It's not the brain. It's subtle. Intelligence is subtle. False ego is subtle. We can't even find these things. What to speak of the soul? We are ill-equipped to find these things. Sarva bhutashayasthita. Therefore, when we are listening to these descriptions of the super soul or the Krishna, we should not doubt. Oh, this is Bhagavad Gita class knowledge. That is material knowledge. Both are. This is good for the class and for some faith-based ideas of life. But for the practical ways of life, we go to the doctor. We go to the that science. That is practical part of life. This is the faith part of life. No, this is where we have to learn how to see that this is actually fact. Even though we cannot see it with our present senses, we should not place too much faith on our senses, saying that, oh, sarva bhutashaya sthita, fine. Yeah, it's good for somebody who has faith. We should not see it like this. This is actually fact. And then we should also know why the doctor cannot see it, the cardiac surgeon. Why he cannot see it? Unless we have answers to these things, there will be gaps in our understanding and our faith will not be strong. our understanding will not be solid. And if somebody questions, we don't know how to even answer. Our faith gets shaken. We get preached to by them instead of preaching to them. Atheists think they are very logical people. They ask questions based on their perception. Oh, I cannot see them. You're saying 8 inches is not found. How do you prove it? Like this they talk. Now, we should know. We should have our answers. So, सर्वभूताशय स्थित अहम आदिश्च मध्यम च भूतानामंत एव च. So he is the beginning, the sustenance and the end, the destruction of everything. That means he is all pervading, not only in space but also in time. He pervades the entire space and time. All pervading, we always think of space. Oh, he's everywhere. But no, he's at all times as well. The beginning, the middle, and the end. And yet we do not see him. This is what Kunti Maharani says. Kunti uvacha Namasye purusham tvadyam ishwaram prakriteh param alakshyam sarvabhutanam antarbahiravasthitam. Antarbahiravasthitam. Alaksham, the invisible. Srimati Kunti said, O Krishna, I offer my obeisances unto you because you are the original personality and are unaffected by the qualities of the material world. You are existing both within and without everything, yet you are invisible to all. And why so? Next. Maya javanikachannam ajnadhokshajamavyayam nalakshase mudhadrisha nato natyadharo yatha. Javanika means what? What is Javanika? Curtain. Curtain. Maya Javanika, the curtain of Maya. Achannam means covered. Agnya means the one who has no knowledge. Being beyond the range of limited sense perception, you are the eternally irreproachable factor covered by the curtain of deluding energy. You are invisible to the foolish observer, exactly as an actor dressed as a player is not recognized. So Krishna also says, Naham prakasha sarvasya. Yogamaya samavritaha. Avritaha again means covered. Samavritaha means samyak avritaha. It means completely covered, not partially. Samyak samavritaha. Mudhoyam nabhijanati lokoma majamavyayam. I am never manifest to the foolish and unintelligent. For them I am covered by my internal potency, and therefore they do not know that I am unborn and inexhaustible. The exact opposite is true for the devotees. Yamaraj says, Ullangita trividha sima samatishaye sambhavanam tava parivradhima svabhavam maya balena bhavatapi niguhyamanam pashyanti kechidanisham tvadananya bhavaham. This is in the Stotra Ratna. See what he's saying. O my Lord, everything within material nature is limited by time, space, and thought. Your characteristics, however, being unequaled and unsurpassed, are always transcendental to such limitations. You sometimes cover such characteristics by your own energy, but nevertheless, your unalloyed devotees are always able to see you under all circumstances. Even if Krishna wants to hide, he cannot hide from the devotees. He cannot hide from the devotees. Whereas with the non-devotees, he always hides himself. But even if he tried with the devotees, they will find out. He cannot hide. This is called Santas Sadaiva Hridayeshu Vilokayanti. Oh, 538. प्रेमाञ्जनच्छुरितभक्तिविलोचनेन सन्तः सदैव हृदयेषु विलोकयन्ति यं श्यामसुन्दरमचिन्त्य गुणस्वरूपं गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is Shyam Krishna himself, with inconceivable, innumerable attributes, whom the pure devotees see in their heart of hearts, with the eye of devotion tinged with the salve of love. How to see Krishna? With the salve of love, with the ointment of love. So the eyes need to be treated. And when one achieves love of Godhead, then one can see Krishna everywhere. But in the beginning, when we have not attained such a stage, we should see him through the eyes of the Shastra. Shastra Chakshusha, Jnana Chakshusha. So these words are used. So therefore, Krishna is merciful enough that even though we are not qualified to see him, he explains himself in such a way that he reveals himself that we can see him or feel his presence even in this material world, while we are still trapped in our material senses. With this knowledge, we are slowly awakened to the real truth that he is everywhere. That's why the difference between Prahlad and Hiranyakashipu was this. Hiranyakashipu asked him, "Where is your God?" He said, "He's everywhere." "Is he in this pillar?" Then, yes, he is there. And he could see it. But Hiranyakashipu could not see. They were standing in the same room, looking at the same pillar. One could see, one could not. So therefore, the pure devotee and the materialist, they are not in the same. One is in the spiritual world always. Even though he is in the material world, he is always seeing Krishna. Therefore, Vishwam Purna Sukhayate, there is no misery for him. Although Krishna says Dukhalayam Ashashvatam, this material world is certified as a Dukhalayam. It's an abode of suffering. And it is Ashashvatam. Even if we want to compromise that, oh, let it be suffering, I will adjust myself somehow. No, you can't. You'll be kicked out. So, Dukhalayam and Ashashvatam. But still, for the devotee, Vishwam Purna Sukhayate, the universe is full of happiness. This material world. Why? Because he doesn't even, he's not, he does not feel the material miseries. He is in a totally different world. Deham chanashvaram avasthitam utthitam va siddho na pashyati yatodhyagamat swarupam daivadapetam atha daivavashadupetam vaso yatha parikritam adhiramadandham. Just as a drunken man does not notice if he is wearing his coat or shirt, similarly, one who is perfect in self-realization and who has thus achieved his eternal identity does not notice whether the temporary body is sitting or standing. Indeed, if by God's will the body is finished, or if by God's will he obtains a new body, a self-realized soul does not notice, just as a drunken man does not notice the situation of his outward dress. In the beginning, we are advised to tolerate any suffering. And not only suffering, happiness also, we are advised to tolerate. Because actually happiness is more distraction than suffering. Because when you're suffering, you will try to think of Krishna at least. Krishna, please save me. When we're happy, I am God. I did everything. So, we forget Krishna even more when we are happy. Happiness is there for so-called material happiness. It's not actually happiness. It is suffering, but we think it is happiness. And when we are in that position, we forget the Lord even more so than when we are suffering. Kunti Devi says, therefore, give me suffering more. She was, who comes to the temple to pray like this? Okay, what is this? Okay, you see this prayer of Kunti Devi. Next time you come to the temple, you pray like this. Vipada विपदः सन्तु ताः शश्वत् तत्र तत्र जगद्गुरो भवतो दर्शनं यत् स्यात् अपुनर्भव दर्शनम्. I wish that all those calamities would happen again and again, so that we could see you again and again. For seeing you means that we will no longer see repeated births and deaths. Mind you, at the end of Kurukshetra war, Arjuna was 89 years old. Krishna also was the same age. He had great grandsons. Kunti Maharani is the mother of Arjuna. She must be at least 110 years old. At 110 years old, she is saying, I wish all those calamities would happen once more. No, again and again. Not once more. Who prays like this? Who prays? How much guts you have to be able to face all those problems which she faced in her youth, to face at 110 years old. This is called fearlessness. Doesn't bother whether all this is going to happen again and again. Because in those difficulties, we could easily see you. She's saying, in other words, to the contrary, what she's not saying is that, although she's not saying it, but that's what it means, that if there were no calamities, we will not, now you see our calamities are finished and now Krishna, you're going back to Dwarka. No. You be with us. And if you are with us, only if there are calamities for us, then let that be so. Let those calamities be with us so that you are always with us. Yeah. So in other words, when there is no calamity, we are far away from Krishna. This is what happens in the heavenly planets. Whoever wants to go Swarga Prapti, everybody wants, we're crazy about it, especially Indian Hindus. Oh, Swarga Prapti ho gaya. Okay, Swarga Prapti, this is what is happening in Swarga Prapti. First of all, we don't know whether Swarga Prapti ho gaya or not. Probably not. Most probably not. We'll console ourselves that Swarga Prapti ho gaya. But don't know where he went. Because of our affection, we are thinking so. And if we say, no, he went to hell, you will get angry. So we will not say anything. But honestly, in the Kali Yuga, mostly people will go to hell. 99.9%. What is the great pious thing that he has done here to go to heaven? Oh, he was a nice man. What is a nice man? You are not going to judge, Yamaraj is going to judge whether he's a nice man or not. And let's take Yamaraj's judgment first. What he considers nice and what not. Then we will see who went where. जिह्वानवक्ति भगवद्गुणनामधेयं चेतश्चन स्मरति तच्चरणारविन्दं कृष्णाय नो नमति यच्चिर एकदापि तानानयध्वमसतो कृतविष्णुकृत्यान्. Yamaraj is saying to his servants, Yamadut, my dear servants, please bring to me only those sinful persons who do not use their tongues to chant the holy name and qualities of Krishna. So if he has not dedicated his life to doing this, forget it. Yamaraj is going to see you. That's it. I mean, this is Yamaraj's statement. I'm not pandering to some emotional, feelings. No, this is fact. Let's keep with facts. Facts trump feelings. Okay, don't go with feelings. Go with facts. Because our feelings don't matter. Krishna's feelings matter. Krishna does not like us not chanting his name. Yesterday there was a gentleman yesterday. Friday or yesterday. So I was chanting below. There was one gentleman who came. I'll tell you. I think he was 74 years old. He was saying, oh, I was a scientist, this and that, so many things. So I said, very good. Now you please chant. No, that's not how you talk to a 74-year-old. You cannot say to a 74-year-old that you should chant. You should suggest, chanting is good, something like that, but you cannot say you should chant. I said, why can't I? Why? Just because you are 74 years old. In fact, I should say it more to you because I don't know when you're going to go. Yeah, because at the time of death, we have to remember Krishna. And better you start now, you're already very late. Even when we start from 5 years old, we are unable to do it at the end of life sometimes. Our practice is not enough. You think you can pass the final exam by last minute preparation? You think so? So, my dear servants, please bring to me only those sinful people who do not use their tongues to chant the holy name and qualities of Krishna, whose hearts do not remember the lotus feet of Krishna even once. Oh, Prabhu, I did once, Prabhu. I am not going to see Yamaraj. And whose heads do not bow down even once before Lord Krishna. This is another thing about Hindus. They come to the temple, they touch the floor and question. The floor must come to the head. The head will not go down to the floor. Why? Head weight, na? Too big. The head is too big to come down. You must bow down our full body. Dandavat pranam. Tashtanga namaskaram. So, whose heads do not bow down even once before Lord Krishna. Send me those who do not perform their duties toward Vishnu, which are the only duties in human life. Yes, Krishna. Let me highlight that part. This is another nonsense with Hindus. What is that? Oh, I am doing my duty. I am doing karma yoga. Work is worship. He also was saying yesterday. Work is worship. What work is worship? So your puja is there, your altar is your boss. Your boss is sitting there in the altar. You're doing, that is your work, no? Work is worship is a nonsense started by Vivekananda. Please don't follow that. Work is worship only when you offer the results to Krishna. And what is the result of our work? Our salary. That's the result of our work. Otherwise, we all talk about job satisfaction. There is no zero satisfaction if there is no salary. However much you like your job, if there's no salary, there's no satisfaction there. So don't talk about job satisfaction. The real thing we are earning from that job is a salary. Okay? And that has to be given to Krishna. How to give to Krishna? One businessman was smart. A few years back, I met him. He said, yeah, I actually offer all my money to Krishna. Where, sir? I'm asking you donation, you're not giving 1 cent also. Every time I get money, I put in front of my Laddu Gopalji and I take prasad. Then Krishna, don't be too smart with Krishna. Hiranyakashipu tried to be. Krishna is way more smarter than us. So at the time of death, when we need him, he will also say, yeah, I saw you. You go wherever you want. Yamaraj will escort us. So give to Krishna means not simply put some Laddu Gopalji in your house and then give to Krishna and now I take back prasadam. No. Give to his mission. Give to the sadhus who are working on his mission. That is called giving to Krishna. Sacrifice. Then, yes, you see, send me those who do not perform their duties toward Vishnu, which are the only duties in human life. Not that my duty is, my work, my this thing. That's not our duty. That's, what? Maintenance of our bodies. Livelihood. Livelihood is not duty. It used to be duty. And livelihood was a concomitant factor. One has to, society used to be structured around Varnashram system, where everyone is employed. And only the Shudras, they earn by working for others. The Brahmanas, they don't earn a salary. They are advisors even to the kings, but they don't take salary. Because once I take salary, I have a conflict of interest. How can I instruct someone whom I am taking money from? I will not. Because, if I say something, he may get angry and he will not give me my money, he will kick me out, fire me. So I will not say. So in order to stay independent, in order to stay authoritative, they don't take anything. Whatever the disciples give, little bit, dakshina you have to give, guru dakshina. That is their means of sustenance. However humble it may be. They stay in a hut, doesn't matter. But they may be the most knowledgeable person in the entire kingdom, but they stay in a hut. It's not that because I'm qualified, I have to stay in a bungalow now. That means I'm not qualified. So, that is a Brahmana. The Kshatriya, he exacts taxes and he uses it for the public welfare. Of course, there is a palace for him that is there, but he is supposed to. I mean, we're talking about perfect kings, not the. So, perfect kings, although they are in the midst of opulence, they are dedicated to the welfare of the public. And not just welfare means construct some, so toilets and, some hospitals. That is not only welfare. In fact, welfare means Kshatriyo hi prajarakshan. Parashar Samhita, we find this Parashar Smriti. Kshatriyo hi prajarakshan shastrapani pradandayan nirjitya parasainyadi kshitim dharmena palayet. The Kshatriya's duty is to protect the citizens from all kinds of difficulties, and for that reason he has to apply violence in suitable cases for law and order. Therefore, he has to conquer the soldiers of inimical kings, and thus, with religious principles, he should rule over the world. This is Kshatriya. And then, you see here, Prajasarga. The word Prajasarga is very important in this verse. Prajasarga means one who has taken birth. According to Veeraraghava Acharya, such protection by the king means organizing the citizens into the specific divisions of the 4 varnas and 4 ashramas. This is called actual protection. He has to organize the citizens into varna and ashrama. Everybody simple. Now today, there is so much unemployment because the universities are teaching us how to become a Shudra. You may be a big technologist, AI and cyber security, whatever, you're Shudra. Okay? Don't be too puffed up with these credentials. These are actually Shudra credentials. Because after my achievements or graduation, I have to take application for job. I have to go and apply for job. And unless I get a job, I am, my existence is in limbo. I won't be able to survive. So that is Shudra. So according to Veeraraghava Acharya, such protection means organizing the citizens into the specific divisions of the 4 varnas and 4 ashramas. It was the responsibility of the royal order to see that the citizens were following the regulative principles of the 4 varnas, namely Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra, and the ashramas, namely Brahmacharya, Grihastha, Vanaprastha and Sannyas. It is very difficult to rule citizens in a kingdom without organizing this varnashram dharma. To rule the mass of citizens in a state and keep them in a complete progressive order is not possible simply by passing laws every year in a legislative assembly. The varnashram dharma is essential in a good government. One class of men, the Brahmanas, must be intelligent and Brahmanically qualified. Another class must be trained in administrative work, Kshatriya, another in mercantile business, Vaishya, and another simply in labor, Shudra. Now, this is not some, caste discrimination, you are bringing back caste discrimination. No. Don't fall for these narratives which are peddled by, people who are against our Sanatana Dharma. This is not a discrimination. This is an organization of society. As if in your company, now they say, all these castes should not be there. But in the company you go, there will be one CEO, and there will be some board of directors, and then there will be some salesmen, and there will be some technicians. That is Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra only. What are you talking about? That is exactly what is the Varnashram system. You have to have category. Not that everybody is a CEO or everybody is a salesman. What is that? So, there has to be discrimination, and there has to be discrimination in the sense not for abuse. There is use of the system and there is misuse or abuse of the system. Just because it was abused at a certain time does not mean the system is a problem. Abuse of the system is the problem. Hammer is not a problem. Using the hammer by a psychopath to hit people and kill them, that is a problem. Hammer has its proper use. Knife has its proper use. We have so many knives in the kitchen. Unless it is sharp, it is actually not of proper use. Oh no, the sharp knife is dangerous. Let's have blunt knives. So that is the kind of solutions we are looking for right now. Oh, caste system, that is a big problem. Let's take out the caste system. Actually, we cannot take out. Because it is created by Krishna. Chaturvarnyam Maya Srishtam, Krishna is saying, I created the Chaturvarnyam. Nobody can dare to even abolish it. You can abolish the names, the nomenclature of it. You cannot abolish the principle by itself, because you still have administrative people, you still have the scientists, the philosophers. These are Brahmanas. The quality we're talking about. But the birth-based caste system, that is rubbish. That is rubbish. We're talking about organizing the Varnashrama by quality. Chatuvarnyam maya srishtam guna karma vibhagashaha, not janma vibhagashaha. Their quality and work. Even if one is born in a, say, Shudra family, but if he has the qualities of a Brahmana, to study Vedas, to understand Krishna consciousness, that is Brahmana. And even if he is born in a Brahmana family, he is an atheist, he is not even a Shudra, he is a Chandala, Mlecha, Yavana. So it's by qualities. So one who knows Krishna, we have to take guidance from such a person in order for us to elevate. In order for us to elevate to the platform of knowledge. So Kshatriya means he has to do this. So send me those who do not perform the duties toward Vishnu, which are the only duties in human life. So this is, otherwise we're going to see Yamaraj. If you want appointment with Yamaraj, fix an appointment. Please don't chant Krishna's name. Please don't come and bow down to Krishna. Please don't do your duties as a service to Krishna. Please bring me all such fools and rascals. So be a fool and rascal, then you will definitely get a appointment with Yamaraj. But if we don't want it, then we have to take the proper steps. No, you are just fear mongering. This is fear mongering. Oh, if you don't do this, you'll go to hell. Okay, then try it. Up to you. We are not forcing. You can try. And after you see Yamaraj, then you'll regret. That time you don't say that nobody told you. So we should be smart. There are some people who, there's some people who hear about something and understand it. Hear about problems and they understand it. Some they see, oh, then they understand. Oh, wow. Suppose, I should not steal. Somebody understands, yes, I should not steal. Somebody, I want to steal. Why am I told that I should not steal? Then he sees a thief be getting caught by the police and whipped and then taken to jail. Whoa, that is bad. Okay, I will not steal. Some people, after experiencing it also, still they don't understand. Again and again, they go to jail, come out, again go inside. So they are the most foolish people. So the smart person, the intelligent person should understand by hearing. So don't try to attempt to, oh no, let me see, who knows, after death, who knows, again there is life or not. I don't think there is. The other day we had a professor in our temple. Professor. And he was saying that I believe that birth and death are purely biological processes and it has nothing to do with afterlife or before life, nothing. They're just biological processes. And he's a PhD. These are again words. Define that biological process, please. Some earth and everything came about and became a person. Okay, I'll give you those same earth and chemicals, all those enzymes and whatever we'll create again. Can we create one person? One person. We cannot. So why do we say that it's a combination of chemicals or some biological process? What is a biological process? The soul has to enter the womb of the woman through the semen of the man, and then, yes, there will be fertilization and then the body will develop. Okay. If the soul does not enter, nothing is going to work. That's why so many infertility problems, so many people have. Why? The semen and the ovum, they are mixing, nothing is happening. Why? If the Lord does not will, it will not happen. What nonsense biological process. Simply using words. And do not give credit to the Supreme Lord. Atheism. And they are professor. If our educational institutions are led by these kind of people, what do we expect out of the people, our students? That's not education. It's not education. If we cannot even know who we are, after PhD, I don't know ABCD about myself. Who are you? Oh, I'm so and so. That's it. I don't know I'm Atma. Yeah. So this is foolishness. So I was saying that in the heavenly planets, who wants to go Swarga Prapti, if at all he reaches there, let's see what is this. Kim dushkarairna kratubhis Kim dushkarairna kratubhis tapovratair danadhibirva dyujayena phalguna nayatra narayana pada pankaja smriti pramushtati shayendriyotsavat indriya utsavat. You see, I have a festival of the senses. Full unhindered sense gratification is what is available for demigods. And you see what happens. The demigods, the devatas, they say, after performing the very difficult tasks of executing Vedic ritualistic sacrifices, undergoing austerities, that means yajna, tapasya, vrata, observing vows, dana, giving charity, all these pious activities we have performed in our previous lives, and now we have achieved this position as inhabitants of the heavenly planets. So if you want to go to heavenly planets, don't go in some Voyager or Apollo 11. You will not go anywhere. Even if you go there, nothing you will see. Okay, this is the way to go. Dana, vrata. Then we become pious. Then we will get a body suitable to live in those planets. Otherwise, we will not be able to see anything there. Okay. We have achieved this position as inhabitants of the heavenly planets. But what is the value of this achievement? Hello, Swarga Prapti. Those who have achieved Swarga Prapti are saying this. What is the value of this achievement? Here, we are certainly very engaged in material sense gratification. And therefore, we can hardly remember the lotus feet of Lord Narayana. Indeed, because of our excessive sense gratification, we have almost forgotten his lotus feet. This is why material happiness is more dangerous than material distress. When we get problems in life, it is better blessing of the Lord than so-called happiness. Everybody writes, Shubh Labh. Shubh Labh. Auspiciousness and gain. But when the loss happens, that is actually a better gain spiritually. Now, let me show you. You want special mercy of Krishna? Who wants? Who wants special mercy? Okay. Nobody wants. This is special mercy of Krishna. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. Yasyaham anugrahanami. Who wants anugraha of Krishna? Who wants anugraha? Special mercy of Krishna, right? We want. Okay. Yasyaham anugrahanami harishye tadhanam shanaihi tato adhanam tyajantyasya swajana dukkha dukkhitam. This is the personality of God. Krishna himself is saying this. If I especially favor someone, I gradually deprive him of his wealth. You want special mercy? I gradually deprive him of his wealth. Then the relatives and friends of such a poverty-stricken man abandon him. Not only physical damage, monetary damage, emotional damage. Poverty, friends and relatives abandon. In this way, he suffers one distress after another. What kind of blessing is it? What kind of blessing is this? So, next verse, he says, Sayada vitathodyogo nirvinnah syad dhane haya matparaihi kritamaitrasya karishye madanugraham. When he becomes frustrated in his attempts to make money, so he loses, right, his money, and then he loses his friends, relatives, and everybody. He tries to make money to gain back those things, but he becomes frustrated. That means even our repeated attempts at making those money, Krishna will not sanction. This is mercy? No. This is. So instead, he befriends my devotees. Because, gaining so many things in this material world is like actually gaining fever, increasing our temperature of fever. If we increase our temperature to 107, 108, 109, we will die. So increasing so-called material necessities, actually they are not necessities, they are unnecessities. This is called anartha. They are not necessary, but we think they are. So these are all increasing the fever of the material life. Anyway, let's be honest. You think that if you don't lose all these things, it is happy life? Then death will come and everything will be taken away anyway. Right? You want to stay in the illusion until the death and go to hell after that? Or be awakened to that illusion and let that illusion pass. Let me actually see the stark naked truth. So what happens when he does this? He befriends the devotees. He becomes friends of the devotee. Then the devotees will guide him. That's when you see, I bestow my special mercy upon him. Instead, he befriends my devotees. And then I bestow my special mercy upon him, because we want some money in this world. Krishna says, no, I will give you my abode itself, which is more than the whole material world itself. I am ready to give myself to you. Why you want some meager wealth, which you anyway will lose in time? I want to give myself. But we don't want. That is our problem. We don't want. So Krishna engineers situations where we cannot get. Then we will start to see the real blessing of Krishna. So what to do if we have wealth? It's not that one does not have Krishna's blessings if he has wealth. He does not have Krishna's blessings if he chooses not to use his wealth in Krishna's service. Yudhishthir Maharaj, Arjuna is called Dhananjaya, winner of wealth. But he's a great devotee. Why? Because he never wanted to use anything for himself. Whatever wealth he had, he wanted to use for Krishna. He is a king, so he's a Rajarshi. So he ran his kingdom according to the principles how to satisfy Krishna, make everybody devotee of Krishna. This is how Rajarshis conduct. The whole law of the state was according to our religious principles. Nowadays, some so-called Hindus, they have a problem with that. Oh, law should not be religious. Law should be secular. No, law should be religious. The secularism is nonsense. Because ultimately everything belongs to Krishna. We have to abide by his rules. We cannot have some so-called secular nonsense. It has to be religious. What we term as crime according to state law is sin according to God's law. That's it. And you see, in Singapore, they say very low crime rate, right? Everybody wants to move to Singapore, very safe. It's safe for humans, not for animals. So, according to Singapore law, it's not a crime to kill animals and eat them. But if you kill a cat, you will be punished. You will be jailed. If you kill a dog or a cat, you will be jailed. If you kill a cow, no. It's fine. If you eat beef, no, it's not a problem. So, they think it is low crime. But that is according to our human calculation. According to Krishna's calculation, crime is anything. I mean, if we go against his rules, there is a crime. In fact, it is called sin. So eating meat is sin, and we will be punished. We will be punished. How many our lives, if I kill a chicken and eat one breakfast, 15 minutes I'm eating something, 20 minutes. For that I have to pay with one life, or maybe more than one life. Because sometimes soup, I don't know how many fish are there and what. So that many lives I have to pay for. So I cannot escape that. So if I have to be free of suffering, I have to abide by Krishna's law. Just by abiding by state law does not do complete good. In fact, sometimes the state law may be opposed to Krishna's law. But if we follow Krishna's law, we will automatically follow any state law. Unless the state is very, very demoniac, like Hiranyakashipu state. Prahlad Maharaj was just chanting Krishna's name and he was against the state law. So that's even then we have to, Prahlad Maharaj taught us, we just have to stick with Krishna. Our Nimanita Prabhu is in a country of Hiranyakashipu. But like Prahlad, he is, chanting and preaching. So, in China, you can't have a religious organization registered. That's the kind of country he's preaching in. So okay, I'll stop here. Any questions or comments on this topic?
So, between yes, Prabhu, Varna is based on the Guna, but why Krishna gave that birth? So some karma is also there to get that high birth or low birth. So why not Varna go with the birth also? This was some recent. It is both birth and quality, like that. Some people say.
First of all, birth, one has to be, first of all, Garbhadhana Samskar must be there. Otherwise, it's not even a Brahmana. Shudra. Kalau Shudra Sambhava. In Kali Yuga, everybody is Shudra. So, therefore, Narada Muni says, Yasyal Lakshanam Proktam Pumso Varnabhivyanjakam Yad Anyatrapi Drishyeta Tattenaiva Vinirdishet. If one shows the symptoms of being a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya or Shudra as described above, even if he has appeared in a different class, he should be accepted according to those symptoms of classification, not according to the birth. Moreover, those who are proud of their Brahmana birth, Rakshasaha kalim ashritya jayante brahmayonishu utpanna brahmana kule badhante shrotriyan krishan. In Kali Yuga, demons will take birth in the families of Brahmanas. Who's born Brahman here? Born Brahman. I am also. In Kali Yuga, demons will take birth in the family of Brahmanas to harass those rare persons who are conversant with the Vedic way of life. That is true. These Brahmanas, they harass the devotees. They think they are better. Oh, smarta, we know how to chant mantra better. You cannot even pronounce properly. So, Krishna does not see your pronunciation. Murkho vadati Vishnaya, dhiro vadati Vishnave, ubhayostu samam punyam bhavagrahi janardana. One may pronounce wrongly, Vishnaya, Om Vishnaya Namaha, but actually the correct pronunciation is Om Vishnave Namaha. But ubhayostu samam punyam bhavagrahi janardana. Krishna, Janardana accepts the bhava, not the pronunciation. Like there is these shows, America's Got Talent, Britain's Got Talent, India's Got Talent. Krishna does not see talent. Krishna sees bhava. Even if we are fully talented, if we are proud of our talent, Krishna does not take our singing or our cooking or whatever seriously. Vidura, Duryodhan, big feast he arranged for Krishna. Krishna did not take. He went to Vidura's house, and Vidura, out of his devotion, he was so ecstatic. He was only bananas he had, and then he was peeling the bananas. And in his excitement, he threw the banana and gave the skin to Krishna. Krishna was eating the skin like a cow. Why? Because of love. So, Krishna is only captured by love. Mother Yashoda could tie him up, not with a rope, because she used all the rope in her house, cannot tie a small child also around. So what actually made her, how did he become Damodar then? Udara means belly, Dama means tied. How he became tied? Out of love. Mother Yashoda's love. So he was actually tied by love, not by rope. That's why he's Damodar. So Krishna is Aham Bhakta Paradhina. I'm captured by love, Krishna says. Not captured by any amount of show of talent. No. So in Brahmana, this is what they do. No. They had this is spoken by Lord Shiva. Those smartas, especially, oh, Om Namah Shivaya. Shiva is saying, you are bloody Rakshasa. That's what he's saying. In the Varaha Puran. Huh? I'm quoting Shastra. I'm not. Shastra is saying. The scriptures forbid one from touching, speaking to, or offering respects to such Brahmanas. So, by quality. Okay, so any other questions or comments? Somebody is asking. If there is indeed rebirth, how can we justify the rise in population? Are new souls being created? Does it work like a batch? Forgive me for the direct question. So, no, this is very limited understanding. Souls means all over the universe, not just Earth. And population, souls not only in the human body, souls are there in every single body. We think we are overpopulation, How many ants are there? They're all souls. How many microbes are there? How many grass are there? How many? You cannot even, according to biomass, I was just curious how insignificant number of humans actually is. According to biomass on Earth, humans make up, I think, 0.0003% of the total weight of biomass of the world, or even smaller. It's insignificant. The trees are the largest, the biggest biomass, I think over 50% of them. And then there are others, life forms, there's so many. But humans are just like, that is 8.4 million. The rest of the 8.4 billion, 8 billions, whatever. So the rest of the souls, they also have take birth in human, right? And some come from the heavenly planets. The whole universe is full of souls. So this overpopulation, sometimes some increase of the humans somewhere, or sometimes decrease. That doesn't matter at all. And there's no such thing as okay. He did not say overpopulation. He said rise in population. Prabhupada said even if the population increases 10 times, easily it can be fed. Krishna's arrangement is perfect. Okay, so any other questions? If not, we'll stop here.
You spoke about three stages, right? Wakefulness, sleep, and deep sleep.
Yeah, I think that's what is it?
The wakefulness, sleep, and deep sleep.
Yeah, what is the verse number?
I'm asking the
Oh, yeah.
And also there is Turiya or something you said.
Yeah. Turiya Sthiti, the fourth state. Above the three modes, above the three states of wakefulness, deep sleep, and there's one verse actually on the three states. If you know the number, then tell me. I don't remember the number. Otherwise, we'll stop here. Jai Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande.